I'm joined by everyone's favorite big booty Latina appreciator, Alex Stein.
Wow, what a pleasure, Carl. I have to say, it's an honor to be here. I know you are an internet legend. You've been doing this a lot longer than me. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You are a legend on the internet, and I want to follow in your footsteps, and it's an honor and a privilege, if I can even speak. So I won't kiss your butt too much, but thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks so much for coming on. Alex, do you like food?
Of course. I mean, duh, who doesn't like food? Food is my life. I'm a big fat Texan, so all I do is eat food. Buffet-style food is my favorite. But you know what I'm worried about, though? Are the upcoming food shortages? Have you ever thought about that? That is a little scary.
Something that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, well, here in America, you know, I don't know about you, Carl, but I am a proud tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. I've been right about a lot of stuff about the pandemic, but my point is, you hear constantly on the media, it's like, another chicken factory caught on fire. Another, agriculture center caught on fire. You're like, well, how is so many of these catching on fire in 6 months?
Yeah, it is. It is something that makes you think, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, I mean, like I said, it makes my antenna stick straight up.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, it's entirely likely that soon you'll have to get used to not enjoying food.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they make a pill, don't they want that? Isn't that what they want?
God, they probably
green?
do.
That's what I'm saying. They want like Soylent Green, and then you're eating humans. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I know it's going to get worse than that. But we'll explain why in a minute. But before we do, if you want to support us, go sign up to lotus.com and watch Brokenomics. Why you're not going to be able to buy food in the near future because your money is going to be utterly worthless. Brilliant series by Dan. I've been learning a lot from it because I don't know anything about economics, but he clearly explains why everything's effed. Anyway, let's begin with the vegans, right? Because all of these practical concerns are real-world things that might be overcome. But have you considered there are moral arguments as to why you shouldn't eat food? Anything with a face, I don't taste. Anything with an eye or two, I don't chew. Anything with a mouth stays out of my mouth. It's an interesting statement from Will I Am, American rapper.
Yes, for
noted
the Black Eyed Peas, very familiar with
vegan intellectual. But one thing he's left out there is that allows us to eat eggs. We can still eat eggs.
Yeah, yes.
Brilliant. I love eggs.
Eggs are my life. Yeah,
shame, unfortunately, we're getting to an egg shortage, isn't it?
Well, and then they cost $7
Yeah.
a dozen now in America, and they were literally 99 cents before Joe Biden was president. Not that Joe Biden's all the cause of this. I think it's almost as
no. Let's. I'm putting on the tinfoil hat. Let's blame Joe Biden.
Okay, yeah, it's Joe's fault. I mean, they definitely don't want to. Like you said, the buying power, the value of our money, the inflation. It's going to be now all of these private companies like BlackRock that are buying the houses, and then you see China is buying most of the real estate in America for a foreign country. They're artificially inflating the value of property in America, so you can't even afford to buy a house.
It's happening here.
So I'm saying already you can't buy a house. So people are like, oh, well, I'll just rent, and that's been in place for
that's good news, isn't it? I'll just be a renter my entire life. Why wouldn't I want that? That would be brilliant. What a great solution.
Oh, so good. I'll just constantly pay rent, and I'll own nothing, and I'll be happy, just like Klaus Schwab said. But my point is now that inflation, that housing market's coming to everything. It's coming to freaking eggs. I mean, now eggs. There's literally, you've seen the memes where people are egg dealers, or they have like a grandma with a Glock and stacks of cash next to eggs, and it just makes you laugh. But that's kind of my humor. It's like this sad reality that it's really the case. These eggs are like crack. They're so expensive now.
Well, unironically, that is actually true, right? So in Britain, we'll get to America in a minute. In Britain, basically the problems are the lack of the lack of feed for chickens because of the lockdowns, of course, the increased costs of energy because of the Ukraine war, and the general heightening of the prices of everything is creating a kind of perfect storm. And then add to that, there's been an outbreak of avian flu, presumably not from China, although I don't know.
Yeah, let me tell you what kind of freaking manufactured avian flu is that. I mean, I don't want to get this kicked off YouTube, but did you just see the Project Veritas leak where they were talking? I mean, they're talking to the guy.
We can't talk about it.
I know we can't. I know. We just want to say
it.
It's safe and effective. Everything's great. We love you, Pfizer. Thank you for being so good. Moderna, you are the best company ever. All the executives that work there, you guys are great American citizens.
We're being vaccinated as we speak.
Yeah, I just got my booster in the alley from some guy. It was great. He offered me some fentanyl too to ease the pain after. It was actually quite a good transaction.
But the point is, we've actually started rationing eggs in this country now. Like we're fighting the goddamn Germans.
Wait, what do you mean? You're telling me that you can't even go to the grocery store and buy more than 1 dozen?
This was back in November. In Asda, there were 2 boxes of eggs per shopper. I don't know whether it was 6 eggs or 12 eggs. I mean, 24 eggs, maybe it'd last me, but come on. Tesco, no more than 3 boxes. Morrison's, 2 box limit. This is crazy. This 2023. Well, this was 2022, but Anyway, let's go to New Zealand, where this is a worldwide egg crisis. Did you know this?
Oh, yeah. No,
worldwide?
No, I know this, and it doesn't make sense because anybody can get a chicken, and it's going to poop out 1 billion eggs. I'm saying
hang on, we'll get to that, right? Because no, you're not allowed to just get a chicken.
No.
Because that's you owning something.
Yeah.
Right. So in New Zealand, it wasn't that there's this avian flu or the price of seed or anything like that. In New Zealand, it was the woke government were like, yeah, so we're going to ban battery farming. And everyone was like, okay, but isn't that going to massively increase the cost of eggs? And they were like, yes. Deal with it.
So what?
Peasant. Yeah, exactly. And so essentially that means that people are like, well, hang on a second. I can just buy a chicken, can't I? Don't eggs come from chickens? And the New Zealand government were like, no, don't do that. Actually, no, it's a charity.
Please don't get a chicken.
Yeah.
New Zealand egg shortage sparks scramble for poultry. Wait, what?
Don't get a chicken. I understand that it seems like a good idea, but please don't get a chicken unless you can look after it long term. What do you mean long term? I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, I mean, what the heck do they care about his freaking chicken? That's the thing is the media will actually act. They'll write stuff having more empathy for a chicken that's going to feed you than their own freaking people they're writing about. They don't care. Like, let's say if you're not vaccinated, they don't care if you die. But if you have a chicken that's giving you eggs and food, you better take care of that chicken. You better live forever.
Well, you might be surprised to discover that the birds could live for a decade or longer, might produce eggs for only their first 2 or 3 years. It's like, it's not going to live a decade or longer if it only produces eggs for 2 or 3 years because you can eat chickens.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when it stops laying eggs, just eat it.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, like I said, dude, this is my problem is I'm so anti-establishment. The government is so dumb and dysfunctional. Any advice that you get from an official media source or official government source, do the opposite. And I know that sounds anecdotal, but literally I could probably do that.
This is not like medical or financial advice.
No, this is not medical or financial. Do not take my advice. I'm insane. I'm not a role model. I'm like Charles Barkley in the 80s. Do not follow my lead because we're going to a dark corner where they're giving free vaccines and fentanyl. But my point is that we live in this world now where it's not even about having freedom. It's about control.
It's about owning your own chicken farm. Tim Pool's just ahead of the curve.
And Tim's dominating with those chickens. He's got more eggs than he could need.
Yeah, exactly. He's cornered the chicken market.
Yes, no, and I love Tim for that. He had the foresight because he had Chicken City before the chicken shortage. What a lucky SOB. I love Tim.
No one knew. How did Tim know?
Does he have inside information? Tinfoil hat. I'm texting Tim after the show. What inside knowledge did you have, Tim, about the upcoming egg shortages?
Anyway, according to the American government, which is the most reliable source of any information, the reduction in eggs is because of avian flu, which has killed more than 43 million egg-laying hens in 2022. 43 million chickins died.
You don't hear about this. I had no idea that 43 million chickens died. Wait, what?
I was quite surprised. It sounds like a lot. I don't know, maybe. But the thing is, of course, we've got to make sure that we don't think it's Bill Gates that's behind this. Because otherwise people like us might think it was Bill Gates. No.
See, but Carl, if it ever says that, PolitiFact, false, you might as well just believe the opposite. It might as well just be true, in my opinion.
Definitely dig into it. I mean, Gates might happen to be the single largest owner of farmland in the United States, but that's actually only a very small amount of land in the United States. So, okay, that's true. And they do say, look, I love this pro-Gates propaganda.
Let's see.
Gates appears to be pro-chicken farming. In 2016, he wrote on his blog about the benefits of raising chickens. Well, maybe he should speak to the New Zealanders and explain to them, no, look, it's good if people raise their own chickens.
It just bugs me, too, because he's the one that talks about climate change, and, there's the clips. So once again, we have to get conspiratorial talking about how they need to reduce the population by 15%. He said
that's only because they keep going in front of cameras and saying it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm repeating it. But my point is why is Bill Gates now... he's the number one source for every bit of information. I'm just saying. I mean, science, technology, food. I mean, it's all Bill Gates.
Why the nerdy computer programmer? What does he know about all of this?
And the scam behind that. So how it works is IBM was making the hardware for the computers, and they had the foresight then, whether it was the CIA or FBI or whatever, I don't know. They knew that if they made the software as well, that they would have a monopoly. Yeah. So basically, Bill Gates stole this operating software from another engineer.
He didn't steal it. He bought it
for very cheap, for like nothing, and then he got paid billions of dollars for it.
He did, because he got IBM to package it with their computers.
Exactly. So my point is, he was basically selected to be the richest man in the world.
And the thing is, anyone who's used Windows will know it's crap.
It's shit.
So, anyway, so the point being is that it's becoming well aware that we're coming into a food supply crisis. The National Farmers Union in Britain have called on the government to step in and assist primary producers under severe strain from soaring fuel, fertiliser and feed costs. all a consequence of lockdowns and the war in Ukraine. Brilliant.
Well, did you see the new food chart in America where they ranked foods, and now they the Great Britain has a crazy one too where they say carbohydrates are the main thing, but
Just
they
eat your seed oils.
But exactly right, that's what they want to do. But they even said that synthetic
corn
eggs,
syrup should be 90% of your diet.
But dude, Carl, I'm dead serious.
Well, they actually said
no, not that. I mean, but the corn syrups and everything. But I'm saying literally, it said that synthetic eggs are better than regular eggs. How is that possible? That's what it said. They said synthetic eggs are healthier than a regular egg. I'm like, how? That doesn't even make sense.
And the thing is, have they considered that perhaps synthetic eggs, which I assume are made from plants, are evil?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
No. We're going to get to this, right? Because we're not allowed to even eat the plants.
So they feel pain?
Oh, yes. Plants now feel... I mean, PETA have been raising this issue valiantly, defending plant rights, right? They say the simple fact is that we don't know whether plants can feel pain. Do you think plants feel pain?
You know what? Yeah, they do. They feel it all because I feel my plants. I know that I talk to them. They grow stronger. I mean, they have, my plants are actually, pretty smart and pretty dialed in. So, yeah, I'd imagine if I cut them, they would be...
My plants are on the internet.
Yeah, that's the thing. My plants have a Twitter. My plants have a Twitter account. So, yeah, if I cut them, they're going to feel it. Obviously not. Obviously a plant. But I did watch this one... Well, I saw this one thing though. Is this guy who's like, pushing the carnivore diet, and he said this thing because I like veggies, even though I'm a hefty man. Everybody who doesn't like a salad occasionally, right? Who doesn't need a little lettuce on your cheeseburger? But my point is, he said that vegetables actually have chemicals in them that are self-defense chemicals, and there's part of the vegetables we shouldn't eat that actually make humans sick, and people don't even realize they have gastric.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a great clip. But see, you watch something on Instagram, you're like, is this real? Is this fake? But he said that a lot of people eat so many vegetables, they have gastrointestinal problems because of the chemicals that are their self-defense mechanisms. So
I had no idea.
I mean, you learn something new every day.
I've just been radicalized against seed oils. But no, scientists have found that plants actually do feel pain. For years, scientists are baffled about whether the question plants can feel pain or not, and so a team of scientists from Tel Aviv University may have an answer to that question. Apparently, plants emit a high-frequency distress sound when in environmental stress. In both cases, the scientists found that plants began to emit ultrasonic sounds that they believed could convey their distress to other organisms and plants within the vicinity. When the stem of a tomato plant was cut, the researchers found it emitted 25 ultrasonic distress sounds over the course of an hour.
So it's yelling.
So it's literally screaming.
Yelling.
It's screaming that they're eating me.
This is the world that we live in. They're saying tomatoes are screaming. Give me a break.
Your vegetables that you're piling on your burger are screaming in pain, and it turns out they might be planning to escape because it turns out plants are intelligent. In 2013, The New Yorker published an article that introduced the world to the idea that plants may not be the benign organisms we thought they were, but could exhibit intelligent behavior. Fast forward to 2019, and now there are dozens of research papers, hundreds of articles, and hours of videos published by plant biologists and neurobiologists discussing the many facets of plant intelligence. Right? Hang on. Through rigorous research and experimentation, the following behavioral characteristics have now been established and can be attributed to plants: communication, learning, problem solving, memory, and memory recall.
A plant has memory now. Wow.
Problem-solving ability.
Yeah, it's just doing math. It's sitting there doing algebra. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And that's another problem is that all the academics in this world, they fund these studies. This is probably at like Yale or Harvard or something.
It's probably government funded.
Or whatever, even though a lot of those freaking colleges are all in bed with the government. So it's like, dude, I don't even trust any of these studies. That's why when you do these debates and I debate people and they're like, oh, I have this study, I'm right. I don't trust any study anymore. I mean, none of this stuff makes sense. They'll tell you that literally tomatoes are doing math problems.
Well, I was just explaining to them that my position was revealed to me in a dream. And so, where's your study on that? But the point of all of this, though, is, okay, so we can't eat animals because they feel pain and they're intelligent. And now we can't eat plants and they feel pain and they're intelligent. So one progressive Guardian writer asks, well, should we stop eating plants?
Yeah, we should. We shouldn't really eat anything, honestly. I don't know what. I mean, mayonnaise. Does mayonnaise have plants in it?
No, it's got eggs in it.
Oh, gosh. We can't eat mayonnaise. Okay, we'll just eat mustard then. I hope mustard is.
That's a plant.
Oh, yeah, mustard seed. What the hell? What can we eat? There's nothing we can eat. I mean,
everything we eat comes from living organisms.
Yeah, I don't know what they want. But that's the other thing, too, though. In America, they don't want you skinny. They want you fat. The new fat acceptance movement. I'd like them to tell, I'd like to see the people that don't want us to eat to mix with the fat acceptance people, and they need to go head to head.
I think we should go through this article because this is the most white woman article you've ever read in your life, right? So it begins with a Radio 4 program, which, if you don't know, Radio 4 is the kind of very liberal, intellectual. BBC 4, yeah. BBC Radio 4, yeah. The program was called "Is Eating Plants Wrong?" Like pushing new frontiers of progressive thought here. Is it wrong to eat a plant? It's like, oh God, you just spent all of these years trying to get us to be vegans, and now you're like, yeah, but you can't eat that, right? It explained plants can sense the world around them, learn, remember, and research complex communication with species around them. Research suggests that pea seedlings can learn to associate a sound with the light they need and choose to grow in a particular direction as a result. And they eavesdrop on one another, right? So do plants show intelligence? Definitely yes, said one of these panelists. I don't see any problem with this. And she says, it's putting me off my baked potato.
Wait, so they're literally saying, Carl, that these are sentient beings, that a potato is a sentient being.
She's just cooked herself a baked potato. She's listened to Radio 4 and it's like, yeah, plants feel pain and they're intelligent. She's like, I can't eat this. It's like, love, it's already dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a baked potato. What are we doing here? Eat it. I mean, eat the damn baked potato and don't have any guilt about it. What is going on? Well, and I remember, hearing you talk about how feminism is anti-man or anti-man. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what is this?
This is anti-human.
I know, but I said this is anti-human. This is anti-life.
It's completely anti-human. And the thing is, the answer is, of course, good. I like it when my plants feel pain. That's why I eat animals as well, to prove that I'm at the top of the food chain, actually. But she carries on. She says, it's putting me off my baked potato and raising fears about what the houseplants my son unwisely left in my care are saying about me behind my back. So peak bourgeois white woman problems.
Yeah, right. I don't want my freaking, tree talking about me behind my back. Can you imagine? I mean, now I can't have sex in front of my plants. We're going to have to move all of the plants. I'm going to have performance issues. So, I mean, if they're watching and they're making fun of the size of my member, I swear I'm throwing that daffodil in the freaking garbage as soon as I get back.
Start looking over at them going, oh, they're judging me. So she says it's a head-spinning indication of how much we still have left to learn about the world. The really knotty question, though, is what would be left for the would-be ethical eater's lunch? Ethical fruitarianism, eating only the parts of the plants that detach themselves harmlessly, causing no damage, as in you can go and pick up fallen apples.
Okay, well, that's what the one carnivore guy the one that said that the plants aren't good for you because they have self-defense chemicals. They said fruits are okay, that those fruits don't have the same.
Oh, right, okay.
So I guess a fruit. So we can't eat bananas. We can eat bananas.
Only if they've fallen off the trees.
Only if I'll shake a tree. I'm going to shake the tree.
No, that's violence.
Okay,
that's violence.
We can't do that.
Think of the feelings of the banana tree. Right. But
let me eat an old apple that's half rotting on the ground. Give me a break.
What about nuts? Wouldn't we be depriving squirrels? Is roadkill allowed? Right. So the progressives have finally got us eating food off the ground and roadkill. That's where it goes.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I mean, it's like you cut off your nose to spite your face. I mean, this is just it's a. I always look at how I'm sure you have enemies on the internet and stuff,
Oh, who doesn't?
But my point is that I oftentimes don't like to get in a fight because I'm my own worst enemy, right? And those people that I'm fighting with, they're the worst enemy. I know they're going to hang themselves. But that's what I see with this liberalism is that we're hanging ourselves. Like they're just giving us a long enough rope. And these people that are calling, social justice or progressivism, because who doesn't want justice? Why would I want marginalized people to be, have a bad life? I do want, the hokey dokey anecdotal.
I'm for good things.
Well, I'm saying I would like us all to get along, but that's not the reality in the world that we live in. And the world that we live in is not fair. And once you realize that, and once you realize you just have to overcome the unfairness, you don't have any other choice. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to make this equitable, fair world that's never going to exist. And we're going to end up killing ourselves in the process.
I'm glad you brought up liberalism, actually, because this leads us to the final question in the are plants sentient and feel pain discussion.
Yep.
Vegetable rights.
No, they should have rights. They deserve a constitution.
This is merely being questioned now by readers of The Guardian. A number of studies have shown that plants feel pain, and vegetables are picked and eaten while still alive. So it's just awful. Animal rights activists are often in the news, but has anyone ever protested for vegetable rights?
Next thing, they're going to give them voting rights. I mean, seriously.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, they'll give dead people can vote in America, so why not let vegetables? Why not? I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, what's the argument against? They're sentient creatures. Ridiculous. So anyway, basically, in summary, you're not allowed to eat anything because everything is alive, and everything alive feels pain and is intelligent, and therefore you're a bad person. Welcome to the 21st century.
But if you can find an old rotting apple on the ground, have at it.
Or if there's some roadkill, you might be morally justified because you didn't kill it.
Yep, go eat that raccoon.
I just love the idea of a bunch of middle-class white women going along and scooping up roadkill. Great, I'm eating well tonight. Good for that.
Yeah, but you know, and do you think she's actually being honest when she says she feels guilty about the baked potato? Like, do you think when she writes this, that's what I'm saying. I don't think these people are even honest. I just think that they're trying to appeal to what they think their readers or their viewers want.
It's the moral framework they're in, though. If it only takes into account, say, things like intellect and pain, well, then if an animal or a plant can be shown to have intellect and pain, then, oh God, now we're bad people. It's like, no, that's not the only thing.
No.
There are other things.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium articles, this one on the anatomy of the communist, with an audio track for silver and gold tier members, of course. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.